All right.
We
We are
live.
guess
Hold on,
what?
let me grab this link.
Child, I am posting now because I need people to come and chime in. Where's Sean with his old let me pro Diddy? You know what? I knew he was going to get off on the major charges because he had 8 men on the jury. And they do not understand coercion. I don't believe they understand the coercion. Listen, when you got a man who has your shelter in his hands, he might you might let him piss on you a little bit.
Baby, I'll be homeless.
That's why I don't let no man have my shelter in his hands, because you know you might allow some stuff that you wouldn't necessarily allow had he not hemmed up your shelter or your food or your livelihood. Remember, he had all three for Cassie, because at the time he was in charge of whether or not she got her music released, because he was the CEO of the record label that had her contract. He was also over her shelter because he was paying for her place to stay. Now, not only did he control the money she had coming in, but he controlled where she lived.
Wow.
And I'm just saying, and so when folks be like, oh, but it ain't racketeering because racketeering implies it's a criminal enterprise and blah 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 blah. It was a criminal enterprise, and the moment he crossed state lines to have her screwing other folks, that was a criminal enterprise right there.
Nadina agreed with you. She said she was dependent on him for everything, food and shelter.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. It's hard for men to understand that. And they're like, oh, because let me tell you, I had this conversation with one of my kids yesterday. My 36-year-old son. But anywho, I had this conversation, and what he said is, if a broke nigga like me could get him the fuck, you know him, man, that's giving him 10 grand a month gonna get him the fuck. I was like, really though? Really though? I mean, I do, but see, the fact that they had so many men on there, I already knew. I knew they was gonna get him on the most bullshit charges, but he finna do some time behind them bullshit charges though, because just like OJ got all that time for stealing his own shit back,
they was gonna take him down any way they could. What's up, Sean?
Right, he finna do some time for them pimp charges. Shake your head if you want to.
I don't care.
To them concurrent, but not concurrent, consecutive. Because if they give it to him concurrent, that means that he's doing the time at the same time. Now, get that bitch the same thing concurrently. Consecutively. So he have to do 5 years. If you give him 5 years, give him 5 years twice. He got 10 years. He got to do.
I'm be honest. I don't care. He never put no money in my pocket, so fuck him. But anyway, whatever he get is what he get. If he get nothing, it don't make no difference to me.
I'm glad he sent his ass back to jail today. Because I'm gonna tell you something. If he was out, I believe he would be harassing the fuck out of them.
Nah,
You think he would take him out?
Nah, he gonna bounce. If he get out, he gonna bounce. He gonna go somewhere with it.
Not before he get them people that testified against him. He won't.
Nope. He gonna bounce and go somewhere where there's no extradition.
But they got his passport. They claim.
What that mean?
Well, this is my thinking, right? I think he had already bought and paid for it. That's why all the winking. You remember some of them news reporters were talking about how he was winking at the jury and shit?
I don't know. I never followed none of it.
I did, and I ain't want to gossip, so you ain't heard it from me. But I'm just saying, I believe he bought and paid for it. That's why he already knew they was gonna get him on something. And then listen, the same this is the other argument I had with my son yesterday. Then he gonna tell me being a freak ain't a crime. He just freaky. Y'all just found out he freaky. Hell, I could be freaky. I was like, Jesus. Fix it. I said, but it's the difference between being freaky and then making people do stuff against their will. Them bitches knew what was up. I'm like, Jesus. Fix it.
I'm trying to figure out who he made do what against their will.
Well, Cassie said she didn't want to fuck all the men that night. And when she tried to leave, he drug her back by her hair. Now we all saw that.
Yeah. So they can get him for battery and abuse, but she had
you dragged somebody.
She had literal text messages to tell this nigga that she wanted to plan the party night for the freak-offs. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't nothing. Oh, I didn't want to put it. Look, if you was down, you was down. And you was down. Because you wanted that bag.
Well, when somebody got your shelter in their hands, you kind of make it seem like you die. Listen, you ever heard of people that get like Stockholm syndrome? And then, like, there are people
fuck out of here. No, I don't want to hear that bullshit. Because when she wanted to leave, she left. I don't want to hear that bullshit.
That ass back to the room.
No. I'm not talking about that time. I'm talking about the time when he set dude car on fire because now she's with dude instead of him.
And she went back.
He didn't do it. He had somebody else.
But she went back again. She went back. Those are the opposite words. When he set that car on fire, he let her know, listen, your ass could be in it next time.
Okay.
Listen, there is a such thing as intimidation. That's why. Do you know there are women that stay with men that are broken in his ass?
There is a such thing as the police, the FBI,
that don't do shit. Why do you think we always hear about them on the news after the fact? Like the girl that was caught on fire here because she had left her ex-husband and then he found her, doused her ass with gasoline and set her ass on fire.
That's something totally different.
No, it's not. That's the same shit. That's what I'm saying. You don't know what people are capable of when you leave them. Do you know the most dangerous time for a woman is when she leaves the abuser? When she leaves the abuser, the first few months after she leaves that abuser,
you do know there are female abusers as well, right? You do know that, right? Men just don't report it as much, but you do know that happens, right?
We watched this nigga beat her ass, drag her, come down the highway in a fucking towel to get her ass at the elevator.
All right. You don't want to listen to what I'm saying, but all right, go ahead.
I'm here to tussle tonight. Shit,
I tussle in the sheets, not the streets, baby. I'm too old for the streets, baby.
And on that note, Thug Pimpin', let me catch up on the comments real quick. Sure said Diddy would crash the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
He is simple-minded as hell, vindictive too.
Mm-hmm.
And sir, she was groomed. He was after her 19 years old and he was 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But to Sean's point, I do agree. There are a lot of men that are victimized by women. They don't report it as much because of stigmas and shame and, being rebuked for not being masculine or manly. whatever. So we have to, if we want to be respected when women say we suffer, then we got to respect the other side of that coin as well.
Well, yeah, they do, but a lot of times
Ain't
you're
no
right.
but. Ain't no but. It's all man. Look, man, it ain't no but.
It's hard to rape a man that ain't willing. Because if he ain't willing, how's he
And
get
that's
raped?
and that and that's
That's
the
not
same.
true. You
That's
can
the
get me away.
same thing. That's
I'm
the
just
same
saying.
thing. That's the
That's the
same
same way a woman
thing
can
that men
orgasm during a
say.
rape.
That's the same thing men say. If she wasn't willing,
Yeah,
her body wouldn't react the way it did.
that's
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
They be saying it's the same thing.
Don't be
And
having
hell, you can
regret.
get an erection out of a dead body.
You sure can,
That's nasty.
I mean, hey, it's a woman that sued
but
this
it
dude the
happened.
state. She sued this dude the state for child support because she worked in the morgue and raped his dead body and got pregnant.
That's
They
trifling as hell.
they did a DNA test and was like, oh shit, he is the daddy, and she won her case.
That's fucked up
Now that's fucked up.
Hey,
for
look it up.
real.
This nigga
Google that
told
shit.
you and you didn't got him to be the baby daddy.
Google that shit.
Wow.
Now, I don't
Talking
know if
about
she.
trying to go after the bag and be trifling as hell.
I don't know if she saw that. Oh shit, this dead nigga rich as fuck and did that shit or what made it. I don't know if she was in there doing it the whole time. Just the one time she got pregnant. I have no idea.
Do you know that they don't? I guess they don't realize you can get some shit from a dead body, like some other shit other than the
Hey,
common everyday STDs. You can get some shit that you can't get rid of that would probably eat your body alive and kill
Yeah,
you.
clearly, she was not worried about that.
I don't know about that, but
Necrophilia is some nasty shit. Why
it's
would you
got
want
its
to
That
fuck
is.
somebody
it's,
that's
it's
dead?
it's got its own name, and so a lot of people done it. When something got a name, a lot of people done it. So
People are so trifling. Yeah. Anywho,
Okay. Okay, so let me just say this. And I think the reason that the cancel culture did not get Diddy like it got R. Kelly is because R was fucking with kids.
mm,
I
Diddy,
agree with you on that.
Diddy at least waited until they were adults in some cases.
Well,
barely.
yeah,
In
exactly.
some cases.
Because there's that story about Justin Bieber, and that was when
Oh,
he was
that's
a
what I'm just
kid.
saying. But wait, and see, I was about to say that about the guys. The guys that he messed with were probably underage, and they definitely aren't going to tell. I know 19 ain't grown, sure, but shit,
Shit, the government says grown.
in the eyes of the law, it is. But he wet behind the ears still, and so is she. At
I mean, the
19,
thing that gets me though is we can consent to marriage, we can consent to having sex, but we can't damn drink till we 21. How
That's
the hell
true.
does that make sense?
It don't.
and I could die for my country at 18, but I couldn't drink. But
Right.
I could drink on base.
I mean, it wasn't sanctioned or nothing, but
They let us drink on base. They said if you old enough to die for your country, you can drink, but on base.
Oh, 19.
But I'm just listen.
Hmm.
I'm just saying. I think he should have got cancel culture just like R did. I mean, but the difference also is R also was hanging around at the high schools and shit, waiting on kids to get out of school and shit, looking like seriously. Folks in Chicago don't know about R. They
But
knew
you know
about
what?
him.
I hold the parents just as accountable as R. Kelly, because where the fuck were
Mhm.
these parents? Whether he was hanging around at the high school or not, at some point when your child not coming home. Now I'm not saying he was right. He was wrong as hell for that. That's number one. But number two, if he never stepped foot on the high school grounds, because I don't know what he did or didn't do, but if he never met him there, where were the parents? If your child is not coming home and they spending time with a grown ass man, I don't give a fuck if you working doubles and triples and every single day. The average parent, especially us, gonna take some time off work. They're gonna whoop your ass because they had to take some time off work, but they're gonna take some
see,
time off work to come find out where you
They
at.
were
you
they
think
were
about
pumping their kids out.
you think about the type of parents you had and the type of parent you would be.
That's
But
why I
you're
said
not thinking.
average. Not
You
everybody's
ain't you
average.
ain't thinking about the type of parent that's like, oh shit, he giving us a bag. Okay, it's cool.
And that's why I said I hold the parents accountable. You're proving my point. They weren't either that concerned or their concern was mitigated by the fact of whatever benefit he was then giving them. So my thing is they should have been behind the jail with his ass, because you can't cry now because your child was hurt when you were complicit in it while that child was being hurt. Like, the only
Right.
person that was truly victimized was that child. To
Right.
me, none of those parents should have a damn thing to say, and all of them should have been brought up on charges, because I can't fathom. I can't. There's nothing in me that can understand the concept of my underage child is going off with grown people that I don't really know and spending all that kind of time with them for days and weeks and months at a
But
time.
he's a producer and he gonna
I
put
don't
my
give
child
a fuck.
on because
Nope.
he already a star.
Sure said, if the community knew this, how come they did not whoop his ass? The community,
Because of what I just
exactly.
said. What I just said. Because he's a star and he trying to put them on.
Yeah,
That's I mean, listen, people get blinded by stardom and money.
yeah.
And I believe, and I hate to say this,
They're not blinded. They just become them true selves. I don't think money changes you. I think money allows you to reveal more of who you truly
I'm
are. It
not
gives
talking
you
about them.
access.
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people around them.
That too. That's why I said I don't think money changes
No,
a person. Money simply gives you access to do whatever you want to do with more
it
freedom.
doesn't change them. It changes the people around them. Let me tell you something. People allow a rich, ugly motherfucker to do a lot more than a pretty broke motherfucker.
True, because they're benefiting. So they're
That
doing what
part.
they're doing based on
That's why.
access.
That's what I'm saying. Money doesn't really change the person that has the money. It changes the people that surround them, and it
Hmm.
changes.
Nah.
It
It
Money.
don't
changes
change
their,
them.
Nah,
It
no,
gives them
nah.
access.
it changes their reaction to them because I'm telling you,
Mm-mm.
9 times out of 10, a ugly dude that don't have no money can't do the same thing as an ugly dude that does have money.
So the people are not changing. They're simply becoming more of who they are. They're being themselves because they have access. A girl that's gonna sleep with a dude because he got money will sleep with anybody else. She's sleeping with him because he has money. It's giving her access. A person that's a yes man or woman for a person that has money, they would be a yes person anywhere else in the right circumstance, whether money was involved or not, as long as they're getting a benefit for something. The money
Right.
is just simply giving them access to whatever it is that they desire, whether it's the
Well, that's the
person
benefit that
or
they.
whatever they can buy with that money. Their benefit is what reveals who the person is. That's why I'm like, nah, I just, again, not every parent, you're right, Sean, but I can't process a decent parent. We ain't even talking about great parents. I'm talking about a decent or a mediocre ass parent. I can't process them being like, you know what? I'm just gonna let my baby girl or my baby boy go off with this grown ass person, man or woman, and
Right.
not have a say so. Like, the fuck? No.
Well, I mean, I ain't gonna say I ain't gonna count mediocre. Mediocre don't never count. But anyway, to the point of that money don't change, it does change people because if you ain't never had no money, you get some money, it does give you access to do more shit than you was able to do before, and then you start changing, thinking you more entitled because you can do certain shit now that everybody, the average motherfucker can't do this. I
Right.
But
can
that flies in the face of plenty of people that have money and don't act like that, or get money
nah
and don't act like that. I
nah
think
because
money just
those
reveals.
those those people are more grounded.
That's my point. It's just revealing the depths of the layers of that person. If you are an asshole, you're gonna be an ass without money. You're just gonna be more of an asshole with money because now you got access to do shit and you got money to get yourself out of it.
But when I say change them, I mean they start doing shit they would have never done as far as like experimenting sexually,
Mm,
shit like that. Like, oh, I would have never done this, but shit, I got money now. And they start doing shit like that. And
Right.
so doing like hardcore drugs, like shit, I got money, I can do whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it changes them in that respect. Now,
yeah.
if they're an asshole, they're an asshole. especially if they asshole with no money, they're gonna be a mega asshole if they get money.
Yeah.
Or
I
should I
remember
say,
this
mega
dude,
asshole?
MAGA asshole. I remember this dude when I was in college. I can't think of his name at the moment, but he was older. I want to say he was in his 40s, and he was the biggest ass. Oh my God. He was on the staff there. Everybody, he was horrible. He was mean, rude, just abrasive, whole personality just shitty. And he was in a car accident, and I think
Mm.
he had head trauma. Oh, he came back totally changed. Like, I'm talking about a whole
Wow.
complete 180. And he was the nicest guy. And at first, everybody was like, he bullshit. But the head trauma had completely shifted his personality. And so I'm saying that to as an example of, I think there are things in life that can dramatically shift us, right? Whether it's trauma or a good experience or whatever it is, there are things that can dramatically shift us. But I think money is one of them things that simply gives us access to be who we're going to be. I guarantee if that person that got money and became a sexual deviant didn't ever get any money, but they had a way to still be a sexual deviant and do the shit they wanted to do, they would do it. They just didn't know the right person or have access. The money gave them access. They already were that person. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think Puffy became this, or Diddy, whatever the fuck his name is now. I don't think he became
Well,
this
his
because he
his
has
shit
money.
is different though,
They say he
because
was like in college.
a he grew up in this type of environment. You know, once his dad died, 'cause, you know, his dad was a gangster. His dad had money, whatever, whatever. But once he died, I don't know what they called it or whatever, but the cat still took care of his mom, made sure his mom was straight. But his mom would throw sex parties when he was a little kid,
Mm,
while he was there being exposed to this shit.
hmm So
So
that's
when
who
he,
that's who he was groomed to be.
yeah, when you grow up around gangsters and you got all this shit going on all the time, that's regular life to you.
Yeah, yeah. The money just gave him more access. The money just gave him more freedom. The money gives you some sense of security because you know you can pay your way out of it. You know what I'm saying? But but I know Gypsy, you was ready to tussle back behind the scenes about this RICO charge. So what you got to say,
I
mama?
really think that once he crossed state lines with his illegal activities, and he had other people helping him cross some state lines to participate in these illegal activities, that's RICO. That's RICO all day long. Listen, I got a cousin doing 40 in the Fed right now behind a RICO charge. We're not even gonna mention the fact that he had illegal guns that had the serial numbers scraped off. Transporting them across state lines is a RICO charge too.
Um,
That's only if he was selling them.
You don't know what he was doing with them because they don't have a serial number on them.
But that's the only way it qualifies as RICO is if he was selling them.
well, so
And
my
distribution
understanding was
of
the RICO
drugs,
would qualify if he was using it through his enterprise to facilitate,
absolutely. And
like versus he just doing it as Diddy at his house
No,
or
no, no,
through
no.
his
So
business.
so
I
and
could
that's
be
the
wrong.
thing. No, no. So that's the reason why it's only RICO if he was selling. Because if he was selling
no,
them, then that.
but you can distribute drugs. You know what, Sean?
Oh, we ain't talking about drugs. We talking about guns right this second.
Okay. All right.
And with the guns, if he was selling them, then that's a criminal enterprise because he's making a profit from selling those illegal guns. But if he was
So
just carrying them, yeah, it's a fed charge for having that illegal gun, but it's not a RICO charge.
so help me understand, because again, I have not followed the case, but from the basics that I looked up, I thought it was less about guns, but it was actually about drugs and the escorts, which is how
It's
the
a
RICO part got involved.
no, no, no. All RICO stands for, basically, I'm gonna break it down to you. This is the simple of RICO: tax evasion.
I get that, but I'm saying where it applies
So
to him,
no, no, no. So well, I ain't even talking about. I'm just talking about in general.
general. Yeah, yeah.
So if you're doing anything illegal and making money off of it and not paying taxes on that money, that's a RICO charge. Now, if he's just carrying an illegal gun and all his boys got illegal guns, That's fed time for the gun. You know, you're gonna get seen by the ATF, but that's not a RICO charge. I
Yeah,
think they tried to implement the RICO charge on the sexual part of it because there was some state lines crossed and he was paying money on the sex part of it.
mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he was making money off of it.
He was still trafficking,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I
and
don't know.
sex trafficking is illegal.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, Sean. When you're saying was he making money off of it, I don't know. I don't know.
A
I wasn't in it.
RICO, but a
But
RICO charge, you have to make money off of criminal enterprise.
but if it's being facilitated through your business, whether you're making money off of it or not, if you're using your business as a cover to do so, wouldn't that still apply? Again,
I
I ain't got no
mean,
law
because
degree.
I mean, unless, but see, that's the reason why it applies to your business because now you're laundering money through your business, trying to make this illegal money look legal. So you
So,
have to have money coming in to do that.
well, okay, so because I'm trying to, I thought, and again, I have no legal background, but I thought that they were looking at it as an umbrella because whether he was making money off of it or not, let's just say
He was
he's using,
conspiring.
right, he's conspiring and he's using his business as a cover to purchase these things, to pay for these things, to pay for the escorts, to pay for the parties, to pay for the drugs, then that's still using the cover or the shield of his business for illegal activities.
And then he's distributing drugs for
And it
illegal
was across
purposes,
state lines because of
and
the
he crossed
parties.
state lines.
And I quote,
I don't.
racketeering, because this is what
Mhm.
causes a RICO
I
act.
mean, I'm looking at it too.
Racketeering refers to the act of participating in an illegal business scheme, often involving a pattern of criminal activity for financial gain.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he was making
But it
direct money
doesn't
in the
say,
business, does it? The financial gain could have come from other things happening at the parties. Don't be
Like
looking
what?
like
Like
that shit
what?
hanging at me. I listen.
Like what? Like what?
but they
You
said
gotta be
drug
making money.
trafficking, drug
You got
trafficking. They
you
said a
got
number
to
of different offenses can amount to racketeering if they're part of a pattern, including drug trafficking, sex trafficking, money laundering, and extortion. He
do you know what
extorted.
happens? Do you
Hold
know
on,
what happens? Hold on, wait, wait,
hold
wait.
on.
Do you know what happens in everything you just said? You make money.
But he extorted her to get her
No,
to
no.
do
Now
some of that stuff.
I
You remember that?
no, 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 no. Now I know he extorted her
Right,
and her mama for 20 grand to let her
right,
go.
right,
So I can see them catching them up on that part of it.
right.
But all I'm saying is to catch a RICO charge on the sex trafficking, he had to have made money. To catch a RICO charge on the drugs, he had to have made money. To catch a RICO charge for the guns, he had to have made money. If you're not making no money off of it, it's not racketeering. They can't slap you with the RICO.
You
They
don't
can
know he's
still.
making money because of the fact that he has
I
so much
don't. I don't give a fuck. But trust me, they have forensic accountants
Forensic
that will
accounting.
go and tell you that he made money off this shit. So trust me, they do all that shit before they try to even hit you with the RICO if they smart. Now if they just hit you with the RICO like we just gonna catch them up, that's different. But all I'm saying is you gotta make money off of it to catch the RICO. Now I'm not saying it's not illegal. I'm not saying he still can't catch Fed time. All I'm saying is you gotta make money off of to catch the RICO.
Sure said, that's right, Jazz. Money only provided access to who you already are and a false sense of security. Yup. Commercial break. Make sure that y'all like this video, share this video, because why y'all not in here talking shit with us in the comments? And if you ain't telling your people, I don't really think that you like them. I'm just saying. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you get notified, because we all on the wrong day and we way late. But we here talking shit because Gypsy got us up out our beds to come talk shit with y'all
I
about this
sure
video.
did. I sure did because I had started sipping and reading and listening to, and I said, you know what? Fuck this shit. This nigga should have went to jail. I mean, well, he
That's
need to stay in jail. And then the other thing is
Mm.
don't give him no damn bullshit time that he get out once you sentence him.
Oh, for time served.
Yeah.
I
No, leave that
really
motherfucker in there for a while and let him stay in that
well
stink
they
ass
got
that he in
they
right
gotta
now.
they gotta give him time, sir, because he's been sitting in there. But anyway,
I
I
mean,
don't
yeah, he gonna get
understand.
served, but don't. What I'm saying
I
is,
don't
don't dismiss
understand.
the rest of it.
I don't understand why so many people are so enthralled with this bullshit. Fuck him. He the one that was out there doing the bullshit. Let him face his shit. Cause if I went to court, ain't nobody gonna give a fuck.
But of course not.
Why?
Damn.
Cause I'm not that nigga. Cause I mean, the fuck,
No,
why we care about him?
I mean, listen, the people that's gonna give a fuck is the people that see you all the time, that depend on you, that well, it's a lot of motherfuckers depend on him. He got a lot of people working for him. So
I'm talking about the general public. I don't give a fuck about his staff and all
no,
his
the
money.
only thing that I'm concerned about is the fact that it sets up a pattern that people with money get the fuck off whenever they do stuff that your ass could do and your ass going down. You going down, boy. You're going
They
down.
they've been doing it forever. What are you talking about?
But what I'm saying is, that's the thing, is that I mean, it's not like it's new because he told us in songs, he told us on Jimmy Fallon, he told us on this a lot of different shows he's been on. He talked about, remember he talked about drugging women. You remember
Did
that
not know.
on a talk show?
No.
Hold on.
Yeah, I was never a Diddy fan, so I
I
ain't
ain't never been
never
a
I
Diddy
hadn't
fan
followed his
either.
career that much, so I
I
I
ain't
keep
never
just
watched
half what
nothing
he
he
did.
did.
I
I
just
done
know he was
seen
supposed to be the it producer, and
well
he was
he was
always on every
Yeah.
song.
He
I'm
he
gonna
was
joked
stick with
about
it.
trapping women in parties and it resurfaced last year. And then he accused, so this is when it resurfaced, was when he talked about it. It was an interview that he was on. And he's like, gotta keep him there. He talked about drugging women on Conan O'Brien. That's
Oh
what it
wow.
was. It was Conan in 2002.
okay. I mean
I just,
that's just how I feel. I don't give a fuck what that nigga did. I
he
don't
said
care.
he has
I really
locks.
don't.
He says he has locks on doors to keep women from leaving, and that good parties should have alcohol and some water because lots of ladies drink water. And if you have what they need, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave. So you gotta keep them there. You need locks on the door.
Oh the fuck.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
care
And see, and then
what
he
he
said, and a
did.
lot of heat don't have no air conditioning because heat affects alcohol, and everyone gets a little more comfortable and loose and builds up a nice sweat.
Yeah, see, I don't
You
care
know
what
what
he
I'm
did. I
saying?
mean,
So he told us about. Listen, there are people.
it don't matter what he told us about. If this nigga get jail time, good for him. If he don't, fuck it. The justice system is fucked up.
It's only fucked up when you say broke niggas get jail time and he don't. Right?
I didn't say that. I
Right?
never said that. I never
Right?
said that.
That's
But
what
I
you hear
mean,
more often than
if you
anything.
don't
You hear,
if you don't have enough money, your ass going to jail. I know that.
Well, Gypsy already told you in so many words, Sean. She don't give a damn, and she ain't putting no money on your books either.
nope.
That's why you won't catch my ass in jail. Because if I go to jail, I ain't coming out. I'm not.
People care and they're looking at this.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Sadida
Exactly.
said people care and are looking at the case. That's who we grew with. That's who we grew up with his music. Was in high school and college. Yeah, Biggie 112, Shine. Love that shit. But now I'm older. I can't support a predator.
Predator.
But
Because, and
but see,
that's
this is the
the
thing. This is the thing. This is why I don't give a fuck about him. Because in that list, he fucked everybody over.
he did.
She left out 112. I mean, not 112. Total. Who else did she leave out? Craig Mack. Who else did she
And he
leave? I'm
killed
trying to
Tupac.
think. I mean, hey, look, I don't throw no allegations around loosely. You know,
Allegedly.
if you want to have a private
Allegedly.
conspiracy theory conversation, that's cool. But yeah, I don't throw around allegations like that. I don't know what that nigga did.
Allegedly, he
I don't
killed
know what that.
Tupac.
I don't
And
know. I don't.
allegedly, he killed Biggie.
I don't know what
Alleg-
that man did. I don't know what that man did.
Allegedly, Biggie was leaving the label, and allegedly he killed
Now,
him.
now, Biggie was going to do that,
Yeah.
but hey,
And when
that's
you
but
got
that's
when you got somebody
I
that
stopped
just,
I stopped fucking with that nigga because he was fucking everybody. He was fucked over the locks and shit. He fucked everybody over. So I was like, yo, I ain't never really fucked that nigga anyway, because he was always popping in the video. Told you we go, told you we go. I'm like, come on, nigga. You the producer. You ain't got to be in every single goddamn video and shit.
ah,
So
That's the only thing I
just
really
like
know
that
about him. He was always on every song talking about take that, take that, take that.
you know what I'm saying. And
ass.
now we know what he meant. Bend over, nigga. Take that, take that, take that. You know what I'm saying?
Allegedly.
Nah, that ain't alleged. That's been confirmed. It's been a couple of cats that then came out online, like, yeah, that nigga drugged me up. Next thing I know, my ass hurting, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? And he like, here goes some money, leave, nigga.
Oh damn.
Well, I just really think that we have become a desensitized society that allows more and more every year. Like for real. Like like when Sher was like, well, if the community knew, how come they didn't whoop his ass? Well, community knew when there was that creepy ass uncle that used to touch everybody in the neighborhood, but they looked the other way then too. But
Well,
that's
they
what
looked at
I'm
the
saying
dinner
is
table with him.
people been looking the other way about a lot of stuff. I mean, you got people that had whole families that lived the next block over. People
Yep.
look the other way then too. Listen, in the last 50 years, especially, we have been looking the other way more and more. And we call it minding our business, right? We be looking the other way all the time. How many times have people been like, well, I didn't get into that. Yeah, I heard the gunshots, but no, I ain't gonna get involved. Like,
Sean, the look on your face right now is
John,
I'm
listen,
just like, I don't want to get shot too. I heard them shits and I'm back here. I ain't gonna want to
I'm
see
just
nothing about nothing.
I'm just saying that more and more people have just become desensitized. I mean, you turn on the news and you hear about people getting killed and shot and babies
Well,
getting raped
that's
and
that's the
all that. You hear
that's the
about it
shit
all
right
the
there.
time. You
That's the
hear about it
problem right
all
there.
the time. And you get to the point where it doesn't,
That's the problem right there.
for lack of a better word, it
Nope.
doesn't bother you anymore.
Exactly, because you hear about it all the time. That's it right
Yeah.
there. You get it shoved down your throat all day, every day. Especially if you watch it. I've been stopped watching the news, but especially if you watch the news, yes, you're gonna
I
be
have no idea what's
desensitized.
really been going on with the trial other than the little stuff that I see here and there on social media. But Nadina said, yes, there was men and women outside the court pouring baby oil all over saying free Diddy.
Hmm.
Society has lost all morals. Lord have mercy.
Hmm.
So what's they was drenching themselves in baby oil talking about free Diddy,
Oh,
free Diddy. Is that what was happening?
Yep. And see, and this is the thing. This is the thing. And let me just I'm just gonna and I don't really like to talk politics or anything like that, but what I am gonna say is that them snatching people off the street and shit, that shit, listen, they are getting us back into that whole thing about almost like the McCarthy era and Roosevelt era when they was putting people in concentration camps and shit, and they normalizing that shit, snatching folks off the street, normalizing that shit, putting people in whatever that alligator Alcatraz that they done built down there.
They ain't
You
built
know,
it yet. They are
they
building
have
it.
built it. No, they
It's
built it.
finished. It's
Yes.
finished.
All it
But
is All it is tent city. Like when
Oh, okay. I
all
thought
it
they were
is
building a
tent
real
city.
facility.
No, it's actually
Okay.
tent city in the middle of Alligator Alley,
Okay.
in the middle of like a swamp at an
No. Yeah.
abandoned airstrip. And
Yeah.
so they got
Well,
access
yeah.
to an airstrip to take them in and out of there
It
and
used to be a
everything.
base. It used to be a
Yeah,
base. What base
but
was it?
I'm just like, but see, the thing is that we've normalized deviant behavior. Like I turn on the news and not even the news. I could turn on just a regular TV show and I hear bitch, shit, fuck, all kinds of stuff and regular TV.
And
Red,
I feel you on that, but I don't think that's deviant. I think deviant behavior is I'm walking down the street, beat my dick, like, hey, how you doing? That's deviant
well,
behavior.
well, wait a minute. While at the same time that they cussing, they fucking on TV, regular TV shows.
Hold on, wait. Okay, I don't know what I need your subscription. What you got? Were they cussing and fucking like, oh yeah, bitch, yeah, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You ever watch some of these
Sounds
reality
like
shows?
forward.
You ever watch a
Oh,
lot of these reality shows
I
and stuff?
don't. I know.
See,
Nope. I don't
that's
No.
watch that
that's
bullshit.
what I'm trying to
I
tell
don't. I
you.
don't. Hey,
They've
you be
normalized.
watching the wrong shit. That's what's wrong. You up here watching that bullshit. Stop watching that shit.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
But I'm also telling you that the entertainment industry has gone to shit. Well, it was already gone to shit in the first place.
Thank
But
you.
the thing is they've normalized a lot. Now they are actually telling you about the casting couch. They've actually shown you about some of the stuff that they've been doing. They've been doing this.
And that's
They've
why
been
I
Harvey
would never.
Weinstein people
That's
allegedly.
that's why I would never audition for a Medea movie.
What?
He don't want you.
Shit. The fuck?
He don't want you.
Shit. Everybody want me.
Tyler is straight.
Okay. I agree with you.
I agree, Gypsy. They have been doing it. Okay, so how did Tyler Perry come up in this? Because I'm like,
Because she mentioned the casting couch.
But
And
I'm
you know that dude is trying to sue him for some sexual harassment and shit. Oh, y'all ain't know about that?
he ain't harassed that dude. He cut his ass.
I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just telling you, I read a lot. So that's what I read. That's all.
what did you read? Do tell.
A guy's trying to
A guy from the Oval, I believe it is.
A guy's trying to sue him for sexual harassment, and he had leaked some text messages where it's like, okay, that could be taken the wrong way.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? Now I don't know if that's what he meant.
From the Oval.
You say what?
Yeah, that's his name, Derek Dixon, and he's from the Oval. He wrote his ass out the script. Fuck him.
And see, I mean, I don't even be getting that deep into it. You know, I skim this shit like, okay, all right, I don't care because I don't know if you're familiar with the Boondocks. The Boondocks is my shit, and they had an episode about that.
Yeah, I used to love that little badass.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, other people been saying it. I thought it. People started saying it. Okay, all right, whatever. But I don't know, and I ain't passing I ain't God. I can't pass judgment on nobody. You do you. That's it.
As the old folks used to say, I got people to do and things to see.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Okay. So you done said all you want to say about this Gypsy before we segue?
Yeah, go on, go to the next segment.
Okay, so last week, Sean, as we were debriefing, I know you want to talk about like men. Let me not lie. Was it men and their emotions? Not being taught how or mentored in how to express your emotions. Wait a minute.
Yeah, something like that. That's what's wrong with
men growing up without a pops and trying to learn to navigate the world.
Yep. That's what's wrong with Diddy.
That's what's wrong with what now?
That's what's wrong with Diddy, Puffy, Sean, whatever his name is this week.
Take away, father. His name Father Love. That was the last name he was using before he got indicted.
Are you serious?
No, Brother Love. That's what Brother Love.
Ugh.
That's what it was.
Oh, I remember that just made me think. I think this was last year when all of this first started. I saw something online. I don't know. I forget who it was on his back, but he has like a back size tattoo of a deity, a feminine deity. And so a lot of people in the spiritual community was like, she fucking his ass up because he tattooed her on his back and he out here doing people wrong. So that's karma coming. I was like, well, I don't know. But that's funny that he was going by brother love or whatever and trying to be all extra spiritual.
Yeah, he was. He
I don't
really,
like
he
that.
really was.
Remember, he asked for that Bible his first couple of days in court.
Mm,
He
that's
did.
like that.
They said today
Cause
he dropped down to his knees. I don't know who he was praying to, but he dropped down to his knees after
I mean,
the
if
verdict.
she being if she being a real woman, she giving that nigga cramps and he can't even bleed. Cause fellas, we all know
Whoa.
how a woman gonna do us. She gonna put the screws to us.
And moving on to your topic, how do you deal with not having a pops and
Um,
teaching you how to handle life, man?
I mean, it's hard. It's difficult. You do have to have mentors.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to have people you look up to. Because if you don't, you're gonna be lost, and you're gonna be doing what you think society thinks you should be, which could be a real detriment to your soul
Mm.
and to your freedom.
Hear that,
Because
Puff?
you, I'm always trying to give a soliloquy, and she fucking me up with her jokes and shit.
I'm just saying. You said a detriment to your soul and your freedom. I'm just asking him, did he hear that? I just say, hey, we
It's
can.
too late for him. It's too late for him. We gotta move on. We gotta look
Not
forward.
too late. Long as he's still on this side of the chilly Jordan, he can still come back.
Did you say
That
the
nigga,
Chili Jordan?
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I don't even understand. But that nigga in jail right now, right, with no bail, right?
Listen,
I don't think he getting out.
I'm talking about his soul, his eternity going to hell.
Girl,
Hey,
you
I
don't give a
mean,
damn about that man's soul.
Okay, you're right.
Oh my God. Sean, continue.
but you
Continue with your
know, so
soliloquy.
my whole point is, it's hard just from personal experience. You know,
Mm.
learning how to play catch or learning how to speak to women or just learning how to conduct yourself as a man without having that father figure there. You have to stumble and bumble your way through until you find that mentor or that person that you look up to that shows like, hey, because that's what makes you say, oh my God, because now they're teaching you.
Right.
Like even when it came down, you know, to fishing,
Mm.
when I was a kid, I would go fishing all the time, but I would never catch nothing. But it was a neighbor of mine who actually, when I was a kid, was like, hey, I need my dog walked. I pay you $1 a day to walk my dog. And I did that shit because I was a kid, and shit, $1 went a long way back then. Man, shit, you
Didn't
can
it
get
though?
like, you know what I'm saying? You can get like 15 packs of 9 liters with $1.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you can get you some 25-cent chips, and trust me, they want these bullshit ass bags they sell for 50 cent, 59 cent, whatever they sell them for now.
Them chips a
These
$1.50 something now. Them
oh
same little
shit,
$25
oh shit,
bags.
yo,
Yes,
but the $25 bag back in the day was bigger than that.
it
This
was.
bullshit is some bullshit. You get you a 25-cent bag of chips, a 50-cent bag of cookie, and 2 hugs for 25 cents each. You know what
Mm.
I'm
Or a
saying?
pickle, some hot sausage.
I mean, that's true. Now the hot sausage, yeah, the pickle. I wasn't really big on pickles. I mean, I like pickles, but back in the day, there was some big ass pickles. And I'm sorry, before they had all this glizzy shit, it was that big ass pickle. Like, nah, I ain't putting that in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least I
Mm.
did. I did know that. Like, nah, I ain't putting that in my mouth, and that just didn't feel right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had to cut that bitch up or something. That ain't feel right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, them shits used to be big as shit.
They were.
They
Yeah,
were-
y'all
and they used to be at the register in that big ass jar.
in that
And,
big ass
and the
dude.
pickle
Well,
And they
daddies.
would
nah,
have them little
they they
tongs and they would
they,
get
they have them in
Yep.
that big ass fucking barrel,
Yeah. With the
and you
hot
going
sausage and the pickled eggs
and,
up
and
there.
you go in
Man.
there and you be like boop, and you be like, yo, man, yo, no. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so I was lucky enough to have mentors along my life throughout my lifetime. Like uncles. You know what I'm saying? And my mother did have one boyfriend that he was really cool. Like I wouldn't have gotten to taekwondo if it wasn't for him. You know what I'm saying? And so it was certain people along my lifetime that taught me things that my father wasn't there to teach me. Like I ain't even gonna lie, my first uncle that taught me how to talk to women, he's a pastor. He still is a pastor. You
Mm.
know, but I was like 12, and he dropped a jewel on me because he was like, we went into a store and it was just some little young girl, but he just said some shit and made her laugh, and then we walked out. He's like, "You see how I did that?" I was like, "What?" He was like, "I made her laugh." He's like, "You make a girl laugh, that opened up doors." And
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I was like 12 years old. So from that point on, I was like, yeah, okay. All right. He laid out the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? So, without a father, it's like, you have to stumble and bumble and kind of luck your way into things. Because if it's just you and your mom and you don't have those positive influences in your life, then you out here fucking up and doing dumb shit. And that's why I always hated niggas, and I will always hate niggas that like, hey ma, what's up? How you doing? I got a man. Oh fuck you then, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold the fuck up. Like, yo,
Yeah.
if she got a man, she got a man.
Yeah. The straight disrespect from 0 to 60 was
Exactly.
always a mindset.
Exactly. Cause it's like, yo, why? Cause she wasn't a bitch when you was trying to holler, but now she got a man, she a bitch.
Now she a
Right.
hoe, she a stinking asshole, she a dirty bitch, she a trifling bitch, she a everything but a child of God because she don't want you.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, it's a crap game out here. It's a crap game for women. They just don't let it show as much, but it's a crap game. You shoot them dice, either you gonna hit or you gonna bust.
But
That's it.
I think part of that mindset goes back to exactly what you're saying. In some cases the dads and the men are around, but a lot of cases they're not. But they're not teaching basic self-respect and basic respect for others. So when that guy, I can't even say young man because it's old men out here being disrespectful, but
Exactly.
when that guy gets his feelings hurt, he don't respect himself enough to be able to respect another human being. He's valuing her for whatever asset he's attracted to or whatever he felt like he wanted to get from her, right? And so when she's not giving it, whether it's the number, the ass, whatever, in his mind, it's okay to disrespect her because she's not valuable. And I think that is that's directly to me related to lack of mentorship. Just like
And
Well,
the
then
young women is directly related to lack of mentorship from the feminine perspective and from the fatherly perspective.
okay, let me not throw it like this, but yeah, I will. All right.
Here
Well,
we go.
a lot of it is learned behavior because they don't have a mentor at home. They don't have a father figure. They don't have mentors. And so what do they learn from? Rap music. They learn from the Diddies of the world. They learn from the Biggies of the world. They learn
oh
from
ho 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 ho! I got no. You blaspheming.
Oh,
Biggie
that.
ain't do shit wrong.
You
Biggie
need to
ain't do
listen.
shit
wait.
wrong. Don't
Listen,
don't 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 lump Biggie in with Puffy.
listen
Nah,
to
fuck
I'm
that.
talking about listen,
Biggie told the shit that was going on in the streets. And if you
but
was around at that time, that was the life you was living.
but
Biggie ain't do
listen,
shit wrong. I don't
but
give a fuck.
listen
I
to
don't give a
listen to
fuck. Don't
the
lump him,
lyrics.
don't lump him in with Biggie. Why you
Listen,
think he was gonna bounce on Biggie? He ain't want nothing to do with that shit.
Listen,
Fuck that. I mean, Biggie was
when you
gonna bounce
listen,
on Puffy.
when you listen
Fuck
to the
that.
lyrics, if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have somebody to show you the proper way, you think that that's the lifestyle and that's the life that you're supposed to be living to be considered a man.
But if you
Think
listen to
about
the lyric, if you listen to the lyrics for real, if you really psychoanalyze them, he was telling you this is what happened and this is what you need to do.
it. Listen to the lyrics and watch the videos, and then they try to show you that, like, listen, and unfortunately, because he let Puff direct his
Name
video,
name a song. Name a song. Name a
his
song.
I don't know, because I don't really listen to fat nigga like that. But as I
He
was
was
saying,
fat. I can't argue that. He was fat.
as I was saying, when you listen to it and
I
watch
mean,
those
his name
videos,
was
but
Biggie.
but again, Puff was in those videos. You know, he was
Now,
directing the videos, and what has everything that every time you see Puffy in there, what is he talking about? A lifestyle, a bunch of women around that are half naked, a bunch of money in the air, and liquor everywhere. Listen, you know, the other day I was listening to Sirius XM, and I'm listening to XL Fly. I like Fly because that's the 90s and 2000 early 2000s hip hop, right? But I obviously was listening to our radio edits because I really didn't know the shit they was actually talking about back then. They've been talking about popping drugs and drugging up people and smoking and drinking, and they've been talking about that.
Biggie never said nothing about drugging nobody. Now, smoking and drinking, that's what you do. But he ain't never say nothing about drugging nobody. He
Now
ain't
he
never
did.
say he drugged no girl.
Not him specifically, but back when I'm talking about that period of 90
Now,
to
I'm gonna tell you this. Rick Ross said that shit, and when he said that shit, I ain't never listened to Rick Ross again.
I was disturbed. I was like listening to some of
Listen,
that stuff
listen,
and listening to
listen.
the ones, the non radio edit ones, right?
No, listen,
And this,
listen to you ain't even know it. The original version, because
mm.
he was like, I put something in her drink. She ain't even know it, and I was, and that's
You know what?
the
That's
beat,
the song I heard. That's the
the
song
beat
I
was
heard
hard.
when you just said that. That reminded me. That is the song
Hold
I
on,
heard.
wait. That was Rick Ross, Drake, and who else was on that shit? I forget who else. Damn, fuck, I didn't drink too much. But anyway, when he said that shit, I ain't never listened to Rick Ross ever again. And I used to love Rick Ross. And when he said I can't get down with that shit, I stopped fucking with Bill Cosby because he was Cosby and bitches.
I mean, and that's the thing is that they
I'm
told
sorry.
us, but if you didn't listen to the non-radio edit version,
Oh,
you really
I was never
but I was listening to the radio edit because I was just
nah, I was never
I
no.
wasn't one running out trying to buy no CDs and
Nah,
stuff because I ain't like hip hop.
give me my shit. Give me my
I
shit
ain't like hip
explicit.
hop like that. But
I need my
so when
shit real, raw.
so when I listened to the radio edit, I did not know the lyrics like that.
Mm.
And then when I really listened to the lyrics, they've been telling you that they've been drugging up people, they've been having sex with multiple women, and don't come over here unless you willing to have a threesome right then, or they like
Oh
orgies and
wow.
all that. Like they told you about the stuff that they do.
But see, that's the thing. If
But
you
wait, I
Well,
said
hold on,
maybe I was listening to the radio edits too, because what the hell?
right. I said that. Hold on. I said that to say this.
wait.
Wait. I said that to say this. So when you get a young man that does not have a role model at the house, and this is what he sees, these are the people he aspires to be because he sees them having money and access to all these different things. That's what he may try to emulate.
I mean that is true. It is because that's a 50-50 thing. Because some people want to see him be like, hell yeah, that's what I want to do. And some people want to see him be like, hell nah, that's fucked up. And that's all determined on the person who they are. That's just what that is.
But their environment too, and also, and the thing is, you've always been
But
strong. You've always been strong. Will a lot of these folks around here are more go with the flow type people.
eh,
So now we get
eh,
into a nature versus nurture type
yeah,
conversation,
yeah,
because what's already genetically predisposed and
and that's
embedded
true.
versus what is nurtured in based on the environment and the caregivers and the community.
And I think that's a 50-50 thing too, because sometimes your nurture could lead you down one path, but because of nature, you already have innate shit in you that it's gonna like, okay, I'm going down this path, but hold on, hold the fuck up. Nah,
Mhm.
fuck that.
I
I
think
ain't
you have
doing that.
to give credit to, like, I look at me for an example, right? I can see clearly both of my parents in me based on their personality traits that I observed, growing up. And and people always would ask me why, when I displayed rage or like something really intense, I would say that's my dad, because I recognized the the big differences in what I saw in his side of the family versus my mom's. Right now, that's not to say that my maternal line didn't possess that, but there was a very real difference in the comfort level that the different families had in displaying certain types of emotions. There was a very real difference in personality traits and characteristics. And then I can see, some of her stuff in me too. And then I can also see kind of how it mixed up. But there's that piece of me that those two things coming together is my personality. So that's why, and I'm just using myself as an example. But I think when we look at those instances of whether a dad or a mom was in the house and who the people were and what they had around them and what they did, both of those things are always at play, because at a certain point we can only say, well, it's my parents' fault,
Mm.
because at some point you gotta, once you stop being a child, now there's a different age for every person, but once you grow and you are supposed to be in that place where you're starting to develop emotional and mental maturity, you can't be like, them motherfuckers did that to me and you're like 75 years old. No.
Yeah, nah, I'm glad you said, because I'm about to say, because there's still some motherfuckers 50 plus that's still out there like
Yes,
Right.
acting
I
like
implement
always
the
little
talk
damn
fucking
about
medication.
children. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Go the fuck up, nigga. What the fuck?
Right.
Oh, but
Like, it
anyway,
might have hurt, but get the fuck over it, because we all out here figuring this adult shit out. Like,
woosah,
be an adult at this point.
woosah.
Right. What, rub them earlobes, corporate thug. Rub them earlobes, thug thizzle. No. But
Mhm.
but we have to, I say, accountability and autonomy at some point, because nature versus nurture and all of that is great. But we still have to own our own actions and our own intentions behind what we do. So whatever Puffy grew up seeing, whatever, just using him as an example since we started there, whatever he grew up seeing in the household based on sex parties and all that other shit, y'all, my daddy was a whole motherfucking pimp in them streets, okay? He 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 wasn't shit. Like
Bitch!
the way I used to see him talking to women and treating women. Now
He kept saying,
I don't know what he did in his later years, but what
Shit, he
I
did the
saw,
same thing.
but what
Trust
I
me.
saw when I was growing up, little girl, was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't grow up, and he was abusive. I knew damn well I wasn't finna let nobody be laying hands on me. No.
But
You
see,
get what
but
I'm saying? So we
that's just
see what we
mm,
implement and what we change.
that's the thing. Like I said, and I guess that just goes to prove that it can happen on either, because it can go either way.
Yeah,
It can.
Mhm.
But when you saw it, you was like, "Oh hell no, ain't nobody." But somebody else could saw that and be like, "I guess that's just the way it is."
that's love, right? And that's my point. Like we all internalize it so drastically different, right? I don't think it's a built-in excuse, because we all at some point have to grow enough to decide where we stop blaming someone else or something else or
Right.
circumstance, and choose how we behave moving forward in order to change the circumstance. I saw ass whoopings and I said, that ain't gonna never be me. but I don't judge another person because they got caught up in that situation, because
Exactly.
once you're in it, it can be
Exactly.
very dangerous and very hard
Exactly.
to leave, right? I just knew for me, when I saw certain signs and certain things, I'm out, because we're not even going to play them kind of games. And but I also have to be careful, because I do have a lot of his characteristics in me, right? So I have to be
Mhm.
careful. Shut up, Sean. I have
No,
to be
no, no,
very
no.
careful.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to judge because I did want to say something. I'm like, do I have enough drink left? But go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
know, right?
But yeah, so I have to be careful with how I handle certain things, because I know the tendency that I can have, right? Self-awareness, autonomy, accountability. I don't care what you call it. We as adults have to be accountable for our actions. It can only go so far trying to point the finger at somebody else and say they made me do it, or I did it because they did.
That's true. That's true. That is true. And yes, you said a lot. You did because it's a lot in that, and what you said should make people look inward.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So hopefully that does what it's supposed to. I mean, and I ain't pointing no fingers, but we all have strong personalities. Hold on, wait. When you point at somebody, you got four fingers pointing back at you. You do that. Oh, okay. You want to change it up now? so so I ain't even had to say that. But anyway, um,
Hit dogs holler. Ow!
I ain't understand that one.
I said hit dogs holler. Ow!
She
Oh,
the one
okay.
hollering,
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. But
because she was ready
you
to
know,
fight you backstage, wasn't she?
I know talking all that. I'm like, yo, calm down. I'm just saying, like, damn. I ain't even say that I wasn't even zesty or nothing.
Lord, yep.
But
Mm-mm.
so that's the thing that people need to do really is take a long, deep look inside themselves. And I don't fault nobody because they always be like, well, if they being abused, why don't they leave? You don't
Yeah,
know what that person is going through mentally within themselves.
Absolutely.
yeah.
And some people feel like that's love. I did date a girl one time that she would literally try to assault me because I didn't put my hands on her because she felt that was like if I wasn't beating her, I didn't love her. I had to literally lock her in the closet one time. Like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What
I'm
kind
not
of
going to
damage
hit you.
you been fucking with? Oh,
You
I
say,
mean,
well,
sorry.
this was a long time. I was young. I was like 25. I was young. I ain't know no better. But when
Yeah,
that
because
shit
like
happened,
anybody that needs to be beat up is just yeah.
yeah, when that shit happened, when I was like, yo, because at first it was just a little, dude, and I was like, whatever. But then when I was like, oh shit, you really want me to put hands on you? Get in this closet, and when you calm
Yeah,
down, I'll
there's
let you out.
a difference between getting, shaking a little bit while you having sex and being beat the hell up.
Yeah, I mean, when she tried to beat me the hell up, it was like, okay, yo, we ain't doing that. Get in this closet, calm the fuck down, and when you calm, I'll let you out. And then after that, I bounced. But it
You
was
were
just
gonna
simple.
say something, but you were trying to figure out if you had enough alcohol left. Did I miss that
Oh,
point?
oh no, 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 no. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought me back around
I was like, how we get here? I thought we was going somewhere else. Okay,
because that's
I
I
was trying
mean
to see if I missed it.
because of what you said, you made a very poignant point that made me go off on a tangent, and I'm glad you brought it back around.
No, you're good. I
Great,
was just trying to make sure I wasn't zoned out and
great
missing it.
job, moderator.
Shut up.
But nah. So my other point was fucking accountability, women.
Oh
Take
yeah.
fucking accountability.
Right.
Women always want to deflect and put shit on a man and shit. What the fuck do y'all want?
Okay.
Everything.
And
You're
that's the problem.
absolutely right. The accountability has to be there. And like I said, I I am holding her accountable, but at the same time, I'm also thinking she's young. He has both her financial well-being because he had her career in his hand as well as her emotional well-being. And so I just really think she
So let me ask a question. I'm just asking for vantage point because I haven't followed it close enough to really know all the ins and outs of her testimony and all the things. But at what point does a person say, if I have to go through these things that I don't want to do and that feel degrading to me, and I'm presuming I don't want to do these things and they feel degrading to me because this person has my career in their hands. At what point do they walk away and say, I'm going to do something else?
So there were a couple of times that she did try to walk away, and he would send for her and say, "You better come back here."
Mm.
And those were the times that he threatened her and stuff. And yeah, so when you're not strong enough mentally and you got somebody that's threatening you like that, a lot of
And we
folks think,
absolutely have to take that into context because there's a difference in somebody who has a much stronger fortitude emotionally and mentally or spiritually versus someone who you could look at and say, okay, that person may be a little bit more fragile or
right.
not as strong. You know what I'm saying? Sean, I see you rolling your
I
eyes.
mean, at night,
No, come
I
on.
mean,
Here, look,
at
look,
19, you have to presume she just probably
look.
recently had left home, and she just probably did not have the skills to be dealing with a grown man like that.
I mean, there are 19-year-olds out here ready to take over the fucking world. So we can't say it was just simply because she was 19,
I'm
but
gonna
it
tell
could
you
be that
this.
plus her personality and
I'm gonna tell you.
whatever. We don't know how she was
Look.
raised and what she
I don't
was
give
taught
a
as
fuck.
far as boundaries and accountability.
I don't even give a fuck about none of that. What y'all saying? Look, if I was a female and some nigga want me to rub other nigga nut on him, the
We're
fuck,
not doing that.
the fuck.
We're
And
not
I'm a
doing
dude saying that, like, yo, what? Because I ain't, yo, I ain't along those lines. But even if I did want to watch, I still don't want you to put that nigga nut on me. I'm beating everybody ass. Fuck that.
You felt strongly about that. You
Like
couldn't
I
even get it
said,
out.
like I said, he was into some weird stuff. Ain't no telling what he saw growing up to make him into all that weird ass shit.
He probably was. He was probably in the room and they was like, "Oh, my little boy," and did that shit just to do it. And then he liked that shit. Like, oh, it's nice and warm. And, man, shit.
I mean, I'm just saying, it just, the thing
I'm
is
sorry.
people don't just come out wanting to do all kinds of peculiar stuff. They've been exposed to it.
But at some point, somebody had to expose somebody for the first
Right.
time. So some of
Right.
that has to be innate. Like you have to be curious about it, or you saw it and thought, "Oh, I want to try." Like there's something that makes you
Even
want to
if
do
you
it or
saw
not
it on
do it.
a video, right? Even if you saw
Right.
it on a video or something, something.
Man, I done watched a lot of porn growing up, and there's some shit I saw that I was like, nope, not doing that.
That's why I say
Not
it
at
has to
all.
be innate. Because me, I'm like, we ain't fucking do it. No. Like going back to the beginning when you said, well, if your shelter depended on it, I'd have been fucking homeless. Not gonna do it. But that's
I'll make a
me.
way.
You
I'll
know,
make
my
a way.
mental fortitude may be different than somebody else's. So that's why I'm like, I can't
Right.
really judge based on that because that's me. But somebody else may feel like they don't have any options. They may feel like they don't have anywhere to turn or know how to change their
Right.
circumstances. I don't really know, right? Um,
Right.
but I also going back to, didn't you say, Sean, at some point she was saying to him that she wanted to plan the parties, or what
No,
was that about?
she was literally planning the shits.
Yeah. She was
So how much of
planning
that was
them.
because she felt like she had to, and how much of it might have been
That's
because she
what
enjoyed it?
exactly. I believe that she felt like she had to keep him happy because a lot of times, and she said a lot of times she would plan him to keep from getting her ass whooped.
And that don't make no sense to me because fuck that. I ain't got all that money and I still know how to get low. I will dip. I'll be like, okay, we
Not
gonna
if
meet.
they're playing for your shelter.
Shit. I, I guess that's what it because I will dip and I will be soon, and you won't know where the
Remember,
fuck I
he
live.
had her livelihood in his hands, and he was paying for her shelter.
Yeah, I
Well,
will
that's
live
why I
under
asked the question,
a
at what
tree.
point does
Fuck
a
that.
person say, I'm just going to have to figure it out and do something different? I either got to go find help somewhere. I either got to run away from home,
Well, she
get away from
finally,
his ass, or I
well,
got to just not be in this industry. Like, that's why a lot of the people that come out and say, I had to fuck so-and-so to get this song produced. Did you have to, or did you choose to? Because it's a difference that they're abusing you and forcing you to, versus quid pro quo. If you do this, I'll give you this. That's not necessarily it's still power, but it's not something that you have. You can walk away and say, motherfucker, I just ain't gonna be a goddamn singer, or I'm just not gonna be an actress, or I'm just not gonna be, you get what I'm saying? It's not like that was the only career in the world. I'm not saying he was right. He was dead ass wrong. I'm just adding context to, there are a lot of women that do walk away. There are a lot of women that say, I'm not going to do that, or I'm not going to accept
well,
that,
it's
or I'm
easy
not
to
going to
walk
go.
away if you have another skill set. But remember, she was 19 with really no talent.
It's 15-year-olds that run away from home so they don't have to deal with it. I know that she was young, but we can't just limit it to only because she was 19.
She was 19 with no talent and no skill set.
Job Corps, bitch.
Yep.
Well, that's no longer an option. He's canceled that program.
I
That's
mean,
right now. That was
that's
not good.
now, but when she was 19,
I
it
know.
was on and popping.
I know. Well, it's okay, and he'll bounce back. I mean, yes. So he's gonna be a felon.
Girl,
Our
fuck him. We don't
president's
care
a
about him
felon.
bouncing back.
I'm just
Fuck
saying.
him.
Now felony doesn't prevent you from being anything in this country. So
I mean,
They're
you ain't
clearly
had to,
not.
you ain't had to say that. You left a nasty taste in my mouth now.
What?
I said she
well,
left a nasty
clearly,
taste in my mouth, saying he gonna bounce back. Fuck
clear.
that
Oh,
nigga.
Listen, clearly, a felony is not a. It's not a.
I don't care. Fuck that nigga. I wish him the worst. I really
I
do.
mean, I'm not saying I want him to be successful, but I'm just saying that we've proven that a felony doesn't stop anything in this country.
I
I
mean, I
mean, as
feel you,
far as
but
I'm
I
concerned,
wish him the worst. I
yeah,
want
as
him to
far as I'm
get the
concerned,
most
he
that he
like
can get.
anybody else that's doing that stupid shit can kick rocks with open toe shoes and glass. So, you know,
With
I
some
just feel like
alcohol
fuck it.
poured on their feet.
Right. Like, I talk about it because it's part of our community, and we do have to dissect some of these things to better understand how can we change the narrative so more people don't fall trap to it. Which is
Right.
again my question: if everybody been talking about this shit for years, and I guess it goes back to people are complicit, because if everybody been talking
Yep.
about this shit for years, how did more and more and more and more people keep falling into the trap and getting sucked in to the point they felt like
Because
they
they
had no
Because they
option?
always thought they were different.
because motherfuckers got
Everybody always
money.
thinks they're different.
Nah, motherfuckers
Everybody
got
always
money.
thinks, "Oh, he won't do that to me because I'm
Nah,
different."
motherfuckers got money and
Right.
power.
And that's really what it comes down to.
Yep.
That's really what it comes down to.
How you
Well,
think Hugh Hefner had all those 23-year-olds when that nigga was like
it's striking
78?
ass. They just let him get away with it because he looked harmless in his damn robe. He was just
Yeah,
as bad.
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, he was. He was just as bad. I mean, they talked to them twins. You remember them twins that he had towards the end of his life that lived in the house?
Those those sluts.
Yeah. But they talked
Okay.
to them. When I tell you, they're terrible now. But when they talked to him, and they were talking about how creepy it felt, but they felt like they didn't have any options. See, the thing is that, Jay, I just thought about what you said.
Mm.
That there's times where you just have to say, fuck it, I don't want to be that, or I don't want to do that, or whatever, because I don't want to be in the industry. There are times that people want to be in the industry so bad that they will
So at some
basically
point, it
sell
still
their
goes back to accountability,
right.
because you have, listen, it's not that I don't care and that I have no compassion, but you're talking to a 15-year-old high school dropout. I dropped out in 10th grade and went through an entire PhD level education because I decided to go back and get my GED at 18. And then I went to tech school, and then I went to college, right?
Mhm.
Because I chose to. It was not fucking easy. I cried many damn tears. Plenty of people tried to talk me out of it and tell me how hard it would be. Many nights I gave up. You get what I'm saying? But I still chose to do something different. I could have been a drug
Right.
dealer. I could have been a drug addict. I could have been any number of things based on how I was raised and what I was exposed to. I could have been a pimp or a madam or anything else. But I
Right.
chose a path and I walked it. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's it's not that I don't care. I try to see it through that lens of not everybody has the that's what I'm saying. Not everybody has the emotional
Exactly.
fortitude. Not everybody has the mental fortitude. And I get that.
You know, my side hustles have side hustles, and I say that everybody doesn't, because everybody's like,
But
well, why are you always, you know,
you
always got
gotta you
something
gotta
going
make that
on?
money. Fuck
But
that.
but that's just me. I
But hold on. I just want to say this to Jay.
Yeah.
It was
Mm.
funny because out of everything you said, you never said you walked that stroll though.
Man, what don't do it.
And
What don't
I
do
know
it.
you saw me smile when you was talking. I was like, oh
I
shit, because
did.
she never said she walked that stroll. She was like, fuck that, I be a pimp or a madam. I wasn't gonna be that
Hey,
bitch on the curb.
Right.
I'm
That
gonna make
part.
money out of it, but I ain't even the devil. But again, I have to realize everybody is built different. And as much
Exactly.
as
I
we
feel
want
you.
to hold everybody to the same standard, going back to the parents, I would be up under the motherfucking jail for my babies if I had some. But there are parents who gonna sell their kids out. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And whether it's for a crack rock or anything else,
Some of these parents are
built
trying
different.
to some of these parents are trying to live their
Unfulfilled dreams of their
unrealized
kids. Yeah,
dreams through their children.
yeah,
And that is when they'll sell those kids out, because they figure, if I couldn't make it in the industry, but maybe he or she can, and then we'll be fine. Now you didn't put the damn livelihood of the house on this kid. Like, you know how many child stars say they hate fucking being in the industry because they had the weight of their family on their shoulders
yeah.
from the time they were kids.
But it's like it again. At some point now, as a child, you can't fight it as much because your parents are running the show. But once you get into your adulthood, if they done fucked up all the money, shit, go get on food stamps and reconfigure your life. But if they left you with some money and you still have access, then that's the opportunity to do something different. But how many of them don't go to therapy? How many of them choose the streets or drugs or sex or alcohol or whatever else to cope instead of actually dealing with the problem so that they can make positive changes. And then they're 60 years old, still talking about my mom and my daddy did. Like, I'm not saying that
Yeah.
it didn't hurt. That shit hurts when the people that you're supposed to be able to trust the most are the ones that destroy you. That's a motherfucker. But it doesn't give us an excuse to go through the rest of our lives blindly blaming everyone else.
But that's why
Well,
there is therapy, and please seek it. Please, I mean, even if it's not a therapist, have somebody to talk to, somebody
Somebody
you
said,
can
yeah,
talk to that's going to be grounded, that's going to say, hey, maybe do this or maybe do that,
yeah,
versus having those yes men or those yes people. I don't want to be sexist. Those yes people that's
right.
just like, oh, blah, 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 just so they can get your money.
absolutely. Listen,
Yeah.
whether it's your pastor, your clergyman, your priest, your family, your friend, your therapist, or whoever, like find you somebody trusted to talk through things with, but at the same time, find you a professional to help you work through shit because
Mhm.
that's the problem. A lot of times we're talking to the wrong damn people and they giving us bad advice or talking to us out of
You
their
can't,
own trauma and
well,
pain.
you can't be a broken person talking to a broken person, because they can't even fix their damn self. Why are you going to think they're going to help you fix you?
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't even know they're broken. That's the problem.
That's too, yeah. Yeah.
Because they
Well,
think it is everyday life because that's all they know.
Yeah.
right.
I mean,
Well,
that's why we have these conversations, right? Because hopefully something that we're saying reflects to someone and makes them think, makes them challenge themselves out of their comfort zone of I've always done it this way. This is what I saw, so it's got to be this way, right? You know, I was fortunate that even though my childhood was fucked up, I still had that random voice here or there. My grandmother was one of them that encouraged me, you know, and I still had that random person that would say something to me that made a difference. But I know that had I not had them, my life could have turned out very different. You know, so we all need people, no matter how much you believe in yourself, we all need people that
mm-hmm.
pour into us and push us. But
Right.
some people are surrounded by asshats, you know, and they're so afraid to let that go that they won't allow themselves to receive from anyone else. So again, in that part of why we do these conversations, because that random person is gonna see this podcast and be like, "Them motherfucker said what?" But that
But
seed
that's,
is planted.
but that's because if you're used to toxic environments and you're used to being in fight or flight all the time, like, Sean, case in point, when you were talking about old girl that needed you to beat her up and shit, she may be used to fight or flight. You know what I'm saying? And if she was used to that type of environment, um, there are some people who just need drama in their life. They need problems in their life to feel like they matter,
That's
if
true.
that makes sense. And I mean, it's kind of weird when you think about it, but at the same time, it's normal to them
No,
because
and that's
they
true.
know. That's all they know. And then, as far as they know, if you not slapping them around and yelling at them and this, that, and the other, you don't care about them.
Exactly. And that's why some people stay in abusive relationships longer than they should, because they feel that way. They feel like if you're not beating me, if you're not, berating me, belittling me, emasculating me, then you don't love me.
Think about this too, though. Then you also got the ones that mm, whew, you also got the ones that they have seen that, they emulate that, and then they
Mm-hmm.
perpetuate it
Mm-hmm.
down the cycle to their kids,
Mm-hmm.
to the people that they work with.
And,
They're toxic wherever they go because toxicity is their normal.
and that's exactly where it comes from, because it is that person's normal, so they pass it on. That's why so many people always say, breaking the cycle, breaking the chain, because at some point in time there is one person that says, "Hold on, wait, this ain't normal. I done seen normal, and this ain't it."
Yeah.
Yeah, but then if you got somebody that they've been in that toxic type environment
Like I
and they're
said,
like 40
one person.
something years,
I
I
ain't say
know,
every person. I
I don't
said
know. I'm
one
saying,
person.
and they're like 40 something years old, and the first time they break out of the toxicity is when the one of the abusers has died.
That I understand that too. I definitely do.
Then then they're lost.
But that's when counseling comes in. Because if
Right.
you 40 something years old, you definitely, well, I ain't gonna say definitely, but you should have health insurance enough to seek some counseling.
I
Now,
mean,
if you
even
still
with
out
the health
there,
exchange and so many things available, so many people still can't afford just basic insurance because of the premiums and the
Right.
upfront costs.
and it, and
And then
that
not only that, Sean, you're not considering the stigma that's still attached, especially in our community.
Yeah.
and I don't give a fuck that stigma,
But
fuck it. Nah, fuck
that's
that shit,
you.
because a stigma is some made up shit.
No, that's you. That's
No, a
you.
stick,
That
man. See,
that
and that's it. That's
that's
the
you
problem right there.
that.
That thought process, because
That that is
a
you.
stigma is some made up shit.
It's not.
It
It's not
is.
made up when it's that person's reality.
It's not your reality. It's what you
You
think
don't
is
know
your
that.
reality.
You don't
It's
know
what
that.
you think your
You don't
reality
know
is.
that it's you're not my reality. How do you know that? How do you know that I'm not surrounded by people that tell me if I seek help that something is really, 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 really wrong with me?
That's
How do you know that?
that's your
How do
made up.
you know that? And see
That's your
that's the issue because these are
okay.
the people.
So no
These
matter how
are the
loud you
everyday
say
people.
it, no matter
These
how
are
loud
the
you say
everyday
it,
people.
no matter how loud you say it, it's not
They're,
going to change anything.
it's still their reality.
No. That's your perceived reality.
No, that's the reality that they
No,
live in.
it's
That's
it's
those
your
are people. Those
nah
are people
nah
that are in their
nah
circle.
nah. Because if you don't give a fuck what somebody else think, then you don't give a fuck what somebody else think.
No, you don't give a fuck what other people think.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. That's the
That's
mindset you
why I
should
said
have.
that's why it's
Fuck
not
what they
your
think.
reality.
What's important is
You
what
can't make
you
that
think
somebody else's
and
reality.
how you feel. Now I'm telling you. So okay, listen to what I'm saying. When I'm telling you, this is how you should feel as a person, and I'm saying that wholeheartedly, and I stand on that 10 toes down. Fuck everybody else. What matters to you is you, your peace, your serenity. I don't give a fuck what nobody else say. If you're not willing to protect that, then I
Nothing else
mean,
matters.
hey,
That's the whole thing.
exactly.
Some people do not know how to protect that.
And how you protect it is say, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. That's how you do it. Fuck you. Fuck the world. Don't ask me for shit. That's how you
It
do it.
doesn't work that way.
Okay. All right. All
So
right.
y'all know one of my favorite affirmations is "fuck them people." I got a whole journal named "fuck them people." That being
Thank
said,
you.
Shauna, because I can wholeheartedly agree with you, but I still have to go back and I also agree with Gypsy that everybody doesn't have that constitution,
Right.
that mental and emotional fortitude to be able to say that and really walk it out. That's painful
Right.
to be able to walk away from everything and everyone that you know if they are in fact the ones
Right.
causing you pain, right? And
Right.
there are those of us that can do it and those of us that can't. And so that's why we have to work on changing the narrative in the community because inherently we all need community, we all need tribe, we all need people, we
Mhm.
are built to need each other,
Right.
but we have to be able to choose whether the people in our inner circle in our close proximity are the healthiest ones for us. And what I have to remind myself sometimes is some people just don't have the stamina.
Some people can't be alone, Sean.
Yeah, some
And
people just
that's
don't have that
Some
kind of
people
emotional
can't be
stamina or mental
alone.
stamina.
And
that,
that's
And that
the thing.
doesn't make them wrong or broken.
that's
They're just
no
built
Right.
no
different.
no 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 no. That's understandable.
Some
That
people
is
cannot they
that is another conversation.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's getting late
Yep. We're
and
gonna go. But we will see
but
y'all
I feel
Monday.
like we should circle back to that because that's a part of the conversation we need to
Like I
talk through
said,
too. Those nuances of why does it seem to be easier for some people to make those changes and those decisions and some people stay in the struggle longer? Why does it feel like some people heal real quick and get over things and other people stay stuck in it for a long period of time before they see change?
I
You know?
mean, like I said, Sean, some people can't be alone.
hey,
They
it's
won't even
another conversation.
they won't even eat alone. So
But
okay.
it's another conversation.
With that being said, before we close today out, anything y'all want to throw on the table about the young men growing up without the mentorship or the young ladies growing up without the mentorship?
Get
I mean,
in the Boys and Girls Club or get in like some good get under 100 Black Men. I know when I was in Atlanta, that was a big thing. And I know that they have them in all the major cities. So you go find a 100 Black Men, find some sort of mentor program. There's also one called Upward. Just look in your area and find a mentorship. And your mentor doesn't have to look like you. Actually, they probably shouldn't, to be honest with you. They shouldn't be somebody you would see in your community because maybe that's the problem.
I will say that Upward Bound, I don't even know if that's still a thing, but when I was in high school, Upward Bound was something that I was put into and participated in. And I ain't finna lie, we was acting like hoodlums and doing all kind of shit even in that program. But
Right.
there
y'all
was
was the smart ones.
And there was another program I was put in when I got sent to the detention, juvenile detention. There was another program they put me in through the I don't know if it was through the county or through the state, but it was like an art program where we got exposed to a lot, and we learned to paint and sculpt and do all kind of things. And again, we was acting like it, huh?
You said paint and what?
Sculpt.
Oh, I thought you said smoke. I was like, what the hell was they teaching y'all?
Nah.
She like, fuck paint and shit. We got paint and smoke.
But you know, that should be a thing. But anyway, yeah, we were exposed to a lot. We was hoodlums and thugs in there too. But a lot of the things that we were exposed to really opened me to seeing how big the world could be outside of my limited circumstances. And so I'm with you, Gypsy. I feel like parents need to find the ability to think outside the box when it comes to exposing their kids to things based on whatever budget they have. Everything don't cost an arm and a leg. There are a lot of free museums. There are some free programs in some areas.
Right.
And then if you have resources and money and family and support and community, tap into them too. What can they share? What can they expose your kids to? Because sometimes that's the difference in a kid giving themselves over to the streets or to the other life that they're trying to avoid versus being someone that they can look in the mirror and be proud of themselves and live the life that they truly desire to live. That's my take on it.
And one thing that I'm glad of is that while Tip talked about
how many things you gonna have?
Shut up.
I'm saying I'm trying to get my thing too, but you keep giving things and stuff.
I'm saying while Tip talked about being a drug dealer and stuff in his songs, one of the things that I really like is the fact that he sat down and talks about the real is that most people don't make it out the game. They either wind up in a box or in jail.
I understand. That is true.
Go ahead.
Okay. Take it away, Sean. Close us out, sir.
I appreciate your permission.
You're supposed to close us out. Stop with all the bullshit before I have to.
Okay. But anyway, I mean, yes, adults, please do donate your time to whatever it is. I don't care if it's a mentorship program or if it's to your local, food pantry. Donate your time. If you can't donate your time, then donate some food, donate some money. Do whatever you can do to help out. And, and especially if you have young kids in your life, drop jewels on them.
Yeah.
You don't have to take care of them every single day, but when you see them, drop some knowledge on them. Mm-hmm. Talk to them about the stock market. Talk to them about a savings account. Just drop some knowledge on them.
Yes.
And definitely talk to them about Black history if you got the right color of pigment.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if you know about your history, if you don't, shut the fuck up. Let somebody else teach.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm saying my thing, and then you want to take that over. God damn, I can't have nothing, huh?
Nope. I told you I was ready to tussle. I listen. I got off the bed to tussle with your ass.
Mm. Oh my god!
And you know you fucked up, right?
Yep.
You know you fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that how you did it? You know you fucked up, right?
That's how you did it.
Mm-hmm. And folks, this is what I be dealing with behind the scenes with their asses too. Like, this is us in real life, not just for the camera.
Right, exactly. That being said, thank y'all for showing up.
Yes, I will add this lastly to what you said, Sean, if I may. Adopt a class. Like, really, even if you feel like you only have $10, I guarantee you, if you get 5 or 6 other people, we haven't done as much before the pandemic, but I literally roped all of my friends in for a couple of years. And I was like, give me some money. And we went to the local school and adopted several classes and talked to the teachers and got them to give us a list of, not the school's list of what do you need in your classroom to help make this easier for you and to nurture these kids? Who do you see showing up without something that they need? Who do you see not having their basic needs met? And they would tell us. And we bought everything from snacks to juice to, crayons, markers, supplies, folders, calculators, headphones. Like, they just told us real life things. If they knew somebody that was showing up with torn clothes or whatever, or had noticed that the kid maybe didn't have enough food at home or whatever was going on, they would tell me. And me and my group of friends, like one person, I guess my point is one person does not have to change the world. We change the world together, right? So even if you feel like you don't have a lot to give what you have. And when you multiply it by a group, it magnifies. And go up there and read. I used to do that. I would go up there. I think I went up there on Fridays. I asked her what day made sense, what time. I would go up there and read to the kids. I would go up there and help with snack time just to show them another positive face in the community and give that teacher a break, because a lot of parents mistakenly feel like that teacher is supposed to give their child everything during those school hours. And that's not even possible with the ratios that most of them have. So with that being said, get out your comfort zones, do something different, think beyond the moment to what you can do long term for legacy in our community. And let's change the narrative, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you're sharing. Make sure that you're liking. Thank you for the engagement. Thank you for continuing to subscribe and helping us grow. And we will see y'all next week, peoples.
Monday. Enjoy the holiday, and please have a safe holiday weekend.
That.